Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I recently was inspired by a lovely subscriber, Jazzy788, to do a comparison video between the Real Techniques blending sponge and the Beauty Blender blending sponge. So you can tell I'm a little bit casual today, but I did my eye makeup and I wanted to show you guys both of these in action and then provide for you kind of my thoughts on if you should spend the extra money and pay about $20 for this guy or save your cash and spend about $7.99 on this Real Techniques one. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by clipping my bang section up out of the way so that I can do my full face. I'm going to start with my concealer. I'm using the McQueen Concealer Dual Veil, the kind of the lipsticky end, and I'm just going to go underneath my under eye circles. I'm going to blend that out just with my Flawless Concealer brush. I just wanted to show you guys this stuff in action, my actual routine using both of the sponges. But I didn't want to start the video with my like crazy concealer circles, so I'm just going to blend this out real fast. Alright, I'm going to use my Physicians Formula Argan Wear BB Cream. I'm going to shake it up just so it's not liquefied or so it's not separated anymore. And I'm going to put about this much onto my hand. And I'll do one half of my face with one sponge and one half with the other sponge. I'll start with my Beauty Blender. Alright, so as you can see, this is what it looks like using just my Beauty Blender on this half of my face. I'm going to go in now with my Real Techniques blending sponge and show you what it looks like. Alright, and you can see that this is what my face looks like when I've used my Real Techniques. With my concealer, I do like to use a brightening concealer, and I'll show you how I use both of those sponges. Alright, so I made the really nice warrior triangle face paint, and I'm going to blend out with my Beauty Blender one side and then my Real Techniques with the other side. Okay, I'm going to finish up the rest of my face makeup and I will come back and I will tell you which one I like, which one I don't, pros and cons of each, and kind of help you decide where you should spend your money. I'm back. Let's go ahead and talk about these. So first off, Beauty Blender. This retails for about $20. There are different variations, different combo packs you can get. I think Birchbox still sells like a Beauty Blender like 2-pack with some cleanser, I think for $40, but I could be wrong. But either way, this thing is pricey. The thing I really like about this is, one, it's very durable. I use these for around 3 to 4 months at a time before they start to wear down. I clean these about once a week, and again, I like it for that part. It also, I really like the sort of tapered roundness at the top here, because as you can see in the demo, I use the pointed end pretty much for everything, but I think it works really great, especially when blending out my brightener concealer. I think it can really get into the nooks and crannies in a really precise way so that I have a lot of precision. I also like with my concealer that I sometimes can be a little bit heavy-handed with concealer, and because of the porous nature of this sponge, it tends to absorb a lot of product. On the flip side though, with BB cream, I feel like I have to use more BB cream with this blending sponge because so much of it gets sucked into the actual blending sponge, which is kind of a bummer because then I'm wasting product that's not actually going on my face. It's just sitting inside a sponge. And no matter how I've tried to clean this, even with the Beauty Blender cleaner, I can never get this to look like the pink end. It always has a hint of BB cream foundation in it left. Even though it's cleaned out, it still is stained. So I dislike that about it as well. But overall, I do think this is a good product. I occasionally will use this side to blend out blush or something if I need to, but I predominantly am using one end of this. So now let's look at the Real Techniques, which I think retails for anywhere from like $5.99 to $7.99, depending on where you go, whether it's Walmart or Ulta. This is shaped a little bit differently. It has less of a sharp tapered point. It's a little bit wider. This tip here has a little bit of a wider circumference, and it has this flat feature on it. As you guys can see in the demo, I predominantly use the flat feature on here, and that's kind of what I like about this because I feel like it has a great surface area to put product on and then pat on my face. I feel like I get really good precision that way. And then I flip it over to use for the pointed end for my concealer. However, I have noticed that a con of this pointed side, because it's not as precise as the Beauty Blender, it takes a little bit more work and a little bit more practice being able to blend in that brightener. At first, I would struggle because it's not as precise. It's a little bit bulky in that tight, close-knit area, so I was kind of having a hard time figuring out how much product to put on, because another con of this is it doesn't absorb as much product. So with the lack of precision and with the lack of the porous nature on this particular sponge, if you put too much product in that area, it's going to take you a lot longer to blend out than it would with a Beauty Blender. However, a pro is that it doesn't absorb my BB cream. So I feel like I have to use less BB cream to cover my whole face, which I appreciate. So when it comes down to which one should you get, I think both work and both work really well. I have to say that I can get the exact same look with my face with this Real Techniques sponge as I can with my Beauty Blender. I think the biggest difference is, are you willing, if you're used to using the Beauty Blender, are you willing to take the time to adapt your skill to this Real Techniques sponge? It didn't take me that long to adapt myself, but it was definitely something where there was a bit of a learner's curve, and if you're someone who's like, I don't want to even bother, I like the routine that I have with my Beauty Blender, keep going. But if you're somebody who's looking for just a way to save money and still get the same great look, go with this sponge. I have tried a lot of other like TJ Maxx and Marshall based knockoff sponges, and they're all right, but I wouldn't choose them over the Beauty Blender. This one I would. I have like 4 or 5 Beauty Blenders on like backstock in my hoarding closet, so I'll probably keep using those, but once I'm completely out, I'm probably only going to buy this sponge because it is so much cheaper. I get the same look. I appreciate how soft this is. When I clean this, I have the same issue that I have with Beauty Blender, and I can never fully get it to turn that original orange color that it started out being. But I think that's just because, again, these are sponges. They're sucking up product and getting stained by the product. And this one lasts about as long as Beauty Blender does. So overall, I think that they're very comparable. I think that they can work depending on what your need is. I really think that you should save some money in this particular category and go ahead and get this Real Techniques. I would love to hear from you if you have used these sponges or you've used any other like knockoff type sponges. Let me know your thoughts down below. Because for me, ever since I started using blending sponges, it has been my favorite. I used a foundation brush originally, and then I moved to a stippling brush. And then when I discovered these sponges, it just changed my beauty game. And I'd love to hear from you guys below your thoughts on these products and any other kind of sponges out there, because I might want to start testing more of them. But that's it for me, guys, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.